thrilled that you're here. This is Atlanta and Company. I'm Christine Pilara. Flawless Painting wants to get you ready for that sunshine. I know there's none today, but there will be. And parties this spring. Their expert painters and quality products can make your deck really stand out. Now today, owner Scott Chaucer is here to answer more of your questions and tell you, of course, about the company. Welcome back.
Hey, thanks for having me.
We've got some viewer questions, of course, but really quickly, you know, you do so much in the community, but someone else that does as well, who's part of your team,
That's
is
right.
your beautiful wife, Trina. Congratulations to her. I voted.
Yeah.
She got in the top 10 for 40 and Fabulous for Best Self Magazine,
That's right. It's over 40 and Fabulous. She finished in the top 10. There was, I think, over 40 contestants. That's just made that final grouping. And, you know, we got the results this week. And it's for her awesome community service work. And her, you know, quote unquote, her slogan is love as an act. And that's really what she does. And she's fantastic at it. And it was just wanted to use this as a segment, as a congratulatory. And then there's an event coming up in May where they announce who gets on the cover of the magazine.
Oh, I hope so.
You got to come.
Can I keep voting? Can we keep voting?
You can't keep voting anymore.
Shucks.
That's done. But
It's
the
done.
winner gets announced that night, and then you got to come. It should be fun. Friends and family and everybody.
You both do great work in the community, so I wanted to give her that shout out. And also, she helps you with interior design.
Yes.
And consultations for the company Flawless
That's
Painting.
right.
So tell us more about the company.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's since we started over 15 years ago, you know, we've been, you know, focusing on homes, whether it's in or out throughout Atlanta. And then some of the things that separate us are obviously our color consultations and our design work that separates us from the competition, so we can really go above and beyond the call of duty for a homeowner, whether it's inside or out, because we don't expect that to be their forte.
Right.
And then obviously we've had the same crews for, and we've mentioned that on the show before, for over 13 years now, many of the crews that work for me, so we really know each other very well.
Right.
Our strengths and weaknesses, how to take care of a person's home, and then our detailed estimates is phenomenal as well, so you know exactly what you're getting.
Yes, that's what I love. And by the way, we had a leak, so we had to fix our ceiling actually in 2 places yesterday. In and out, it looked beautiful. I wasn't home at the time. I was like, wow, done. Looks so pretty, by the way.
Yes,
seeing
thank
them
you,
for the
thank
first
you.
time since then.
That's right.
But it really, it's the attention to detail. I mean, everything was just, it's perfection. From the prep work to the final product. And that's what's so important. And you've been awarded, speaking of awards, Best of House. What is that?
Yeah, that was a community thing throughout Atlanta for different contractors. And our segment obviously is painting and whatnot, whether it's inside or out, and we were awarded that for our, you know, great customer service and our consistency, and it was just a great reward. So we're really thrilled about that. And more folks are going to house for color ideas and decorating ideas, inside or out, and remodeling ideas. It's a phenomenal site to go to.
All right, and speaking of remodeling, we want to get to some questions that we have, because wet weather, it's happening as we speak. Pop-up thunderstorms, they can cause those hard to see places where there's wood rot. On the exterior. So talk to me about that, what we can do to protect it.
Absolutely. This is the focus of our attention right now as we're getting into April. And by the way, everybody sees the pollen, and that'll be done in about 2 to 3 weeks. So, you know, everybody's gearing up to that. And our focus is taking a really good look at your house. As you know, when we walked around your house or other houses that we've talked about, you know, we'll pick it apart. That's our forte. Our crews, if they don't know how to do the wood rot, they can't work for us.
Oh, good.
So you don't have to call 3 different guys to do wood rot windowsills or fascia or soffits or things of that nature. You know, those parts that the average homeowner will never be able to do.
Right.
But we can do all that. It's a one-stop situation. Fix it, repair it, prep it, and paint it, and it all goes along with painting the whole house. So that's what we do really, really well. So when we leave your house, we know we've got it nice and tight.
Absolutely. And of course, we want to talk about decks, because we do want to start entertaining, opening up our homes. So look at that picture, by the way, just beautiful. A lot of people think, and we talked about this.
Yes.
Jim did it. He was guilty of it a few years ago. Oh, I'm just going to stain the deck myself. I can do this. First of all, it didn't look that great. Sorry, Jim. Leave this to the professionals. Make sure people really understand why they should.
Yeah, it's a difficult task to handle.
Gorgeous.
Lots of times you got to know how to pressure wash it. You got to know how intense you should pressure wash the deck, because you don't want to destroy the deck, but you do want to clean it. And there's cleaners out there to clean it. Then you have to know what type of application to put on it, whether it's a solid stain, a semi-transparent stain. Imagine sitting there staining all those pickets. You got hundreds and hundreds and hundreds. It's not one of those things that you could just, hey, honey, let's go outside and let's stain the deck today.
Right.
It's not that situation. So that is an integral part as we're gearing up for parties and graduations and weddings and everything coming up. As we know, May, June, July, it's going to be huge. So we do a lot of those decks. When it comes to painting the house, we tie in the deck. But lately, from the show, we've been getting lots of calls just to come and look at the deck, do the repairs to the deck. We can replace parts and components to the deck as well.
Right. And speaking of decks, Jim has a question. He wants to know if there's some peeling of the old paint, how should he prep the area before painting?
Well, it's a very good question. And you have to, what we talk about when I see a homeowner is definitely scrape it, sand it, prime it, and paint it. Now, if it's a deck, sometimes a solid color stain deck, that'll be peeling. You need to sand it and scrape it and get it ready for a solid stain. A solid stain will act as a primer on a deck. But when you're painting a house, you need to scrape it, sand it, prime it, actually use a primer, and then paint it. So those steps, lots of times painters will shortcut it, and that's the difference between a really good painter and professionals versus a painter that you pick up off the street and think he's going to do a good job. Might be half the price, but not going to do the job.
Exactly. And believe me, he walked around my house and he could tell where we cut corners in the last few years. He's like, hey, who painted that? I'm like, don't ask.
Well,
you see the drip. I know, you still love it. See the drip stains, you know.
That's right.
Okay, do we have time for one more question, Brian? Real quick. Mike wants to know, are there any issues I should be aware of when choosing a stain or paint?
Yeah, absolutely. You want to use the best of the best, whether it's from Sherwin-Williams, whether it's from Behr products, whether it could be Cabot stain, but you definitely want to know what's been used on the deck beforehand, whether it's a latex or an oil-based semi-transparent stain, whether it was a solid color stain. Certain applications you can't put over top of certain applications that have been done in the past, and people run into issues of that. I've seen the biggest disasters when people think, oh, okay, let's go out and stain it, honey, and they go grab the product. They don't know really what to use and what was used on it 4 or 5 years ago. Right. And again, I always stress, do the decks every 12 to 18 months. You want to keep it saturated. You don't want to feel like you can't walk on the deck and you're splintering and you're going to kill your feet.
Exactly. And I know you have a great special offer exclusively for Atlanta & Company viewers, so tell us more.
Absolutely. Yeah, we're kicking off a new promotion. We're kind of making it simple, cut and dry. It's a fabulous offer. It's 15% off, whether it's interior and exterior, over $1,000. Makes it real simple for people to understand. So, you know, if you're talking a $4,000 job and you're talking 15%, it's $650.
Big savings.
That's a great savings right off the top, off the labor charges. So keep that in mind. 15% off. We love it. And it's really been great. Call the show, mention you, mention us.
Awesome deal. Thank you, Scott. It's always a pleasure. At the end of the day, Mike and Jim, don't try and do it yourself. Just call Scott and Flawless. And for more information, visit flawlesspainting.com. Pick up the phone right now. Take advantage of that great savings. 678-386-7899. Flawless Painting.